51st Discourse. On the 20th of Shaban, AH 545, the Sheikh, may Allah be well pleased with him, said, "This world is all about wisdom, hikmah, and work, amal. The hereafter is all about power, kudra. The former is based on divine wisdom, while the latter is based on divine power, so do not give up work in the domain of wisdom. And do not underestimate his power in the domain of power. You must work in the domain of wisdom in accordance with his wisdom, and not depend upon his power. Do not make destiny, Qadir, an excuse for your lower self, nafs, for it will try to use it as a pretext and give up work. Laying the blame on destiny is the pretext of the lazy. Destiny can only count as an excuse outside the sphere of the divine commandments and prohibitions." After Sathna discussion, the Sheikh, may Allah the Exalted be well pleased with him, went on to say, "The believer does not rely on this world, nor on what it contains. He takes from it his allotted share, QISM, and turns away with his heart toward the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He. There he stays until He relieves him of the fierce heat of this world and instructs his heart to enter His presence through the mediation of his innermost being, Sir, sending the innermost being out to the heart, and the heart to the tranquil self, and nafs al-mutma'ina, and the obedient limbs and organs of the physical body. Then while he is like this, lo and behold, his dependents are enabled to manage without him, and a separation comes between him and them. His Lord protects him from the evils of creatures and makes them subservient to him. He sets a barrier between his heart and their heart, and he remains all alone with his Lord Almighty and glorious is He. It is as if creatures had never been created, as far as He is concerned, as if his Lord Almighty and glorious is He had no creature from Him. His Lord Almighty and glorious is light continues to be active FAL, while He is acted upon maful fi, He continues to be the object of His quest, while He is His seeker, He is continues to be His root, while He is His branch. None but Him does He know, and none but Him does He see. His Lord hides Him away from creatures. Then, when He wills, He resurrects him. 80:22. He resurrects him for their benefit, causing him to exist among them for their welfare and guidance, and he endures their trouble for the sake of the good pleasure of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He. The people of the Lord are the guardians of hearts and innermost beings, Asrar, standing with the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, and with none but Him, working for Him and for none but Him. O hypocrite, you do not have a clue about these people, nor do you have a clue about faith, Iman, nor a clue about intimate friendship, uns, with Allah Almighty and glorious is He. Soon you must die, and you will be sorry after death. You have been satisfied to speak eloquently with the tongue and incoherently with the inner core, Janan, and this will not stand you in good stead. Eloquence belongs to the heart, not to the tongue. Weep 1,000 times for yourself, and for others but once. O you who are dead at heart. O you who are absent from the people of the Lord. O backslider. O you who are screened by you and by creatures from the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He. My God, Allah, I was mute and you made me speak, so bring benefit to creatures through my speech, and perfect their righteousness, Salah, at my hand, or else return me to the state of muteness. O my people. I summon you to violent death, al-mad al-amar, that is to say, to combat with the lower self, nafs, the passions, hawa, the natural impulses, tab, and the devil, shaitan, to the abandonment of creatures, and to the renunciation of everything whatsoever apart from the Lord of truth, Almighty and glorious is He. Do battle, Jahidu, on these terms and do not despair, for as the Lord of truth, Almighty and glorious is He, has told us. Every day He is about some awesome business. 55:29. Lit. Red death, as opposed to white death, Almat al-Abayad, meaning death by natural causes. Ask of Him in accordance with His power, Kudra. Ask of Him with regard to power, not with regard to wisdom, Hikmah. Ask of Him in terms of His knowledge, not in terms of your knowl. Edge. Ask of Him with your hearts and your innermost beings, Asrar, not with the babbling of the tongue. Ask of Him beyond the scope of your knowledge and your power. Stand in His presence in a state of bankruptcy, iflas, in relation to all things. Do not try to outmaneuver Him. Do not try to outdo Him. Do not try to outwit Him. Do not make fools of yourselves by rejecting His management, Tabr, in favor of your own management. Anyone who does not put his knowledge into practice is an ignorant fool, even if he has memorized it perfectly and knows it inside out. The acquisition of knowledge without practice will throw you back on creatures, while putting your knowledge into practice will restore you to the Lord of truth, Almighty and glorious is He. It will make you abstain from this world and let you perceive with your inner batin. It will shift your focus away from the improvement of the outer, Zahir, and inspire you, Yulimuka, with the improvement of the inner. And at this stage the Lord of truth, Almighty and glorious is He, will befriend you, because you will now be worthy of Him. As Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, has said. And He befriends the righteous. 7:196. He befriends them outwardly and inwardly. He trains them outwardly with the hand of His wisdom, and inwardly with the hand of His knowledge, ilm, so they fear none but Him and pin their hopes on none but Him. They take only from Him and give only in His cause. They become estranged from all others, enjoy His intimate companionship and feel at home with Him. These are the latter days, Akir az Zaman, a time of much change and transformation. This is the age of indifference, Fatra, the age of hypocrisy, Nifaq, and its general circulation, Nifaq. O hypocrite, you are the slave of this world and of creatures. You put on a show for them and work to please them, but you forget that you are under the supervision of the Lord of truth, Almighty and glorious is He. You make a display of working for the sake of the hereafter, when all your work and aspirations are actually for this world. The Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, is reported as having said, if a servant Abid puts on a fine show of working for the hereafter, although he does not wish for it and is not seeking to attain it, he will be cursed in the heavens by his personal name, Ism, and his patronymics, Nasab. I recognize you, O hypocrites, by means of wisdom, Hikam, and knowledge, Ilm, but I shall veil you with the veil of Allah, Almighty and glorious is He. Woe unto you! Have you no sense of shame? Your physical bodies have not been cleansed of external sins and impurities. You lay claim to purity of the inner. Purity of the heart has not been realized, so what of the innermost being, sir? You do not behave properly with the created makhluk, yet you lay claim to proper behavior, adab with the creator khaliq. The teacher is not satisfied with you. You have not behaved properly with him and have not accepted his instructions. You sit in the seat of honor and push yourself to the fore. There is nothing to be said until your affirmation of divine unity, Tawhid, stands erect and steady in the presence of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, until you hatch from the egg of your existence, Wujud, sit in the lap of grace, come under the wing of His intimate friendship, uns, peck the love of sincerity, ikhlas, and drink the water of direct experience, mashahada. Then you will remain in this state until you become a rooster dick. At this point you will become a guardian for the hens, loving them with selfless devotion, and a muezzin mu'adin, who arouses people from sleep by night and by day, alerting them to the obedient service of their Lord. Almighty and glorious is He. You ignorant one, put down the catalog daftar, and come, sit. Over here, right in front of me. Knowledge is obtained from the mouths of the men of the Lord, not from the archives dafatir. It is obtained from the spiritual state, hal, not from the teaching, makal. It is obtained from those who are extinct, fanan, to themselves and to creatures, surviving batun, in the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He. The central point is your becoming extinct, fana, unto you and to them, then your existence, wujud, in Him. You must die to everything other than Him, then come alive through Him and for His sake. Keep company with the servants of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, who never leave His door. Their job is to carry out His commandments, observe His prohibitions and comply with His decree Qadar. They move about in harmony with His will irada, for them and His action fill on them. They have no quarrel with Him where they are concerned, and none where others are concerned. They do not oppose Him in anything, be it little or much, be it high or low. You must not be distracted from the service of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, by the service of your own lower self, nafs, by the greedy desire to achieve its personal ambitions. The saints, Aliyah, of Allah Almighty and glorious is He, must go through the motions of seeking from creatures, not because they have any need of them, but because He inspires, yulimu, them to do so, as a mercy, rahmah, to His creatures. Such a person does not seek anything from them because of his own self. His own self has become tame and no longer has any will or desire, shahwa, in relation to this world. You suppose that his own self is like your ignorant self, which has made you devoted to its service and which makes you act according to its will and its desires. If you had any sense, you would not get involved in its service and distracted from the service of its Lord. Almighty and glorious is He, for it is an enemy to you. The right course for you is to respond to it with silence, and to throw what it says overboard. You should listen to it as you would listen to a madman, Majnun, who has lost his mind. Pay no attention to its words and its demands for the satisfaction of carnal desires and pleasures and vanities. Your destruction and its destruction lie in your heeding it, and your well-being, salah, and its well-being lie in your contradicting it. If the self-nafs is obedient to Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, its sustenance, risk, will come to it in plenty from everywhere. But if it is disobedient and throws its weight around, it will have its material means, asbab, cut off and troubles will overwhelm it. Thus it will perish, losing both this world and the hereafter. As for the self that is obedient and contented, its owner is served whichever way he may turn. He collects his allotted share with a feeling of satisfaction. He discharges the religious duties, fard, that are incumbent upon him, with a willing heart, with no sense of inconvenience. His heart is empty of everything apart from Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, while his physical body is free from strain in the process of obtaining this world and its bounties. O recipient of blessings, give thanks for those blessings, otherwise they will be snatched from your hand. Clip the wing of blessings with gratitude, otherwise they will fly away from you. Dead is he who dies to his Lord, Almighty and glorious is He, even if he be alive in this world. What good can his life do him, when he is spending it on the satisfaction of his lusts and pleasures and vanities? For he is dead in inner content, ma'na, if not in outer form, surah. O Allah, make us alive in you and make us dead to everything other than you. O you who are an elder in age but only a boy in natural inclination, how long will it take you to outgrow your youthful immaturity? Your natural disposition follows the perversity of this world, which is all you are interested in. Do you not realize that your interest, hamuka, is what causes you anxiety, ahamaka, and that you are the slave of anyone who holds your reins? If your reins are held by your lower self, nafs, then you are the slave of your own lower self. If your reins are held by your passions, hawa, then you are the slave of your passions. If your reins are held by creatures, then you are the slave of creatures. If your reins are held by this world, then you are a slave to it. If your reins are held by the hereafter, then you are a slave to it. If your reins are held by the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, then you are a slave to Him. So notice too, whom you are giving control of your reins. Most of you, the great majority, are those who wish for this world. The minority are those of you who wish for the hereafter. The exceptional few among you are those who wish for the countenance of the Lord of this world and the hereafter. In their company you must be well behaved. You must not contradict them and quarrel with them. Do not disparage them, for you will be disparaged. Do not behave badly toward them, for you will be destroyed. Be sensible. You are showing yourselves hostile to the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, through your actions. You mean less to Him than a mosquito's wing, unless you are sincerely devoted to Him in your private lives and under all circumstances. The treasure that never passes away is honesty, siddiq, sincerity, ikhlas, the fear of Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, and hope placed in Him, and recourse to Him in all situations. You must have faith, Iman, for it will connect you. When you see one of them, the people of the Lord, lower your wing to Him, in humility. Submit your condition to Him and do not argue with Him about it. Hold your tongue and do not offend Him with your bad behavior. Silence about what you do not know is a form of knowledge, ilm, and submission, taslim, in what you do not know is a form of Islam. O you who are weak in conviction, you lack both this world and the hereafter, and this is because of your bad behavior toward the Lord of truth, almighty and glorious is he, and your doubts about his saints Aliyah, and the deputies Abdul of his prophets Anbiya, whom the Lord of truth, almighty and glorious is he, has appointed in their stead. He has charged them with the task with which he charged the prophets Nabiyan, and the champions of truth Siddiqan. He has committed to them their works Amal, and their forms of knowledge Ulam. He has made them extinct to their lower selves Nufus, and their passions Awiya, and then brought them into existence through him and established them in his presence. He has purified their hearts of everything apart from him, and has put this world, the hereafter and creatures at their disposal. He has shown them his power Qudra, and taught them his wisdom Hukam, and his knowledge Ilm. He has given them strength through him. Real to them is the saying, there is no power or strength except through Allah, the High, the Almighty. They are sincere in saying this, for they have annihilated their own power and strengths, and the strengths of creatures, and have grasped the strength of the Lord of truth, almighty and glorious is he. Mu'ah, may the mercy of Allah be upon him, used to say, O Allah, if you will not do with me what I would wish, then give me patience to bear what you wish. O young man, cheerful acceptance of the divine judgment is better than gaining this world in the midst of conflict. Its sweetness is sweeter to the hearts of the champions of truth, Siddiqan, than the satisfaction of carnal desires and pleasures. It is sweeter to them than the whole of this world and all it contains, because it makes life altogether delightful in all its conditions of various kinds. You must speak about people with the tongue of knowledge, practice and sincerity. Do not speak about them with the tongue of knowledge without practice, for this will benefit neither you nor those around you. The Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, is reported as having said, knowledge calls out to practice, and if the latter responds, well and good, otherwise it departs. Its blessedness Barakat departs, and its case against you remains to be answered. You become a scholar seduced by his knowledge. Its tree stays with you, but you lose its fruit. You must beg Allah, almighty and glorious is he, to grant you a state, hal, and a station, makam, in his presence. Then if he grants you this, beg him to keep it a secret and not let you feel like disclosing any part of it. If you like to make public what is between you and the Lord of truth, almighty and glorious is he, it will be for you a cause of your destruction. Beware of taking pride in states awal and works amal, for it is a provocation causing the person guilty of it to lose the favor of the Lord of truth, almighty and glorious is he. Beware of a fondness for talking about creatures and winning their acceptance, for this will do you more harm than good. Do not utter a single word until you put your own affairs in order, and a definite instruction comes to you from the Lord of truth, almighty and glorious is he. How can you invite people to your home without having prepared any food for them? This is a business that needs a foundation, only then can there be a building. You must dig the ground of your heart until the water of wisdom, hikmah, wells up in it. Then build with sincerity, ikhlas, struggles, mujahadat, and righteous works, amal salahat, until your castle is erected. Then invite people to it after this has been done. O Allah, enliven the bodies of our deeds with the spirit, Ra, of sincere devotion to you. What benefit can you derive from seclusion from creatures, when you have creatures within your heart? None, and no honor is due to you or to your seclusion, Kawa. If you practice seclusion while there are creatures within your heart, then you are sitting all alone without the presence of the intimate companionship, uns, of Allah Almighty and glorious is He. Or rather, your companions are the lower self, nafs, the devil, shaitan, and the passions. When your heart enjoys the intimate friendship of Allah Almighty and glorious is He, you are secluded from creatures even if you are in the midst of your family and your kinsfolk. Once this intimacy is firmly established in your heart, He will demolish the walls of your existence, wujud, and give insight to your perception, so that you can recognize His gracious favor and His action fill. Thus you will be content with Him to the exclusion of everything but Him. When someone is in a particular spiritual state, halami now all, while at the same time keeping to the sacred law, shar, and desires neither what is above it nor what is below it, neither that it should pass away nor that it should be permanent, then he has met the precondition of contentment, rida, compliance, mawafaka, and servitude, ubudiyah. Woe unto you! Do not tell a lie. You lay claim to contentment, yet you can be put out by a flea, a crumb, a word or an insult. Do not tell a lie. I will not listen to your lies. I will not act upon them, nor will I give them credence. Among all creatures there are a few individuals whose hearts receive inspired revelation, yuha ila kulubihim. Words meant specially for them are cast into their hearts. They recognize what is good and stand by it. How could it not be so, since they are following the example of the messenger in his sayings? He, blessings and peace he upon him, received inspired revelation outwardly, zahiran, while they receive it inwardly, batinan, in their hearts, because they are his heirs, warith, and his followers in all that he has commanded them to do. If you genuinely wish to be such a follower, you must frequently remember death, for the recollection of it will support you against your lower self, nafs, your passions, hawa, and your devil, shaitan, and help you to get rid of your attachment to your worldly interests. If someone will not take a lesson from death, there is no way to preach him a lesson. As the Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, has said, death is sufficient as a preacher weighs. Your allotted share will come to you, whether you are prepared to do without it or have a craving for it. If you are prepared to do without it, your allotted share will come to you and you will be worthy of respect. It will also come to you if you have a craving for it, but then you will not be worthy of respect. The hypocrite munafiq shows modesty toward Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, as long as creatures are present around him, but behaves impudently toward him when he is in his private space. Woe unto you! If your faith, iman, in Him were genuine, as well. Your firm belief, itikad, that He is watching, nazir, you, near karib, to you, supervising, rakib, you would feel a sense of shame in His presence. I am telling you the truth, haq, and neither fear you nor pin my hopes upon you. In my sight you and all the people of this earth are like fleas, like specks of dust, because I see that harm and benefit come from Allah, Almighty and glorious. He, not from any of you. Slaves, mamalik, and kings, mulik, are the same to me. You should criticize yourselves and others on account of the sacred law, shar, not because of the passions, hawa, the lower self, nafs, and natural inclinations, tab. When the sacred law is silent on a subject, you must observe a corresponding silence, and where it has something to say, conform to it in respect of what it has to say. O young man, do not criticize others because of your lower self and your passions, criticize them rather on account of your faith. Faith is the critic munkir, while certitude, yaqeen, is the eliminator of faults, and the Lord Almighty and glorious is He, is the helper Nasir, who helps you to succeed and glories in your success. As Allah Almighty and glorious is He has said, if Allah helps you, none can overcome you. 3. 160. If you help Allah, He will help you and will make your foothold firm. 47. 7. If you are critical of something blameworthy out of zeal for Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, He will assist you to get rid of it, supporting you against those responsible for it and making them submit to you. But if you are critical of it because of your own lower self, your passions, your devil and your natural impulses, He will disappoint you and fail to support you against the people concerned, and you will not be able to get rid of it. Faith is what is entitled to criticize, al-Iman Hawal Munkir, so any critic whose criticism does not stem from faith is no critic at all. Criticism, regardless of your personal wishes, must be for the sake of Allah Almighty and glorious is He, not for the sake of His creatures, for the sake of His religion din, not for your own sake, for Him, not for you. Abandon your crazy delusion and be sincere in your actions. Death is waiting in ambush for you. There is no way for you to avoid crossing its bridge. Give up this greediness that has put you to shame. Whatever belongs to you must surely come your way, and whatever belongs to others will not come to you. So devote your attention to Allah Almighty and glorious is He, and stop chasing after what belongs to you and what belongs to others. As Allah Almighty and glorious is He has said to His Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace. Strain not your eyes toward that which we have given you for some pairs among you to enjoy, the flower of this world's life, that we may thereby put them to the test. 20. 131. There is nothing harder on those who really know, Arafa Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, than having to talk with creatures and sit in their company. This is why there might be 1,000 knowers, Arif, but only one speaker, Mutakalimel among them, and he would need the strength of the prophets peace be upon them. How could he not need their strength, when he is intending to sit among people of all types, mingling with those who are capable of understanding and those who cannot understand, when he will sit in the company of both hypocrite and believer? He must experience enormous hardship, patiently enduring things that are so hateful to him, yet in spite of this, he enjoys protection and receives assistance with what he is involved in, because he is carrying out the orders of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is He, in speaking to the people. He does not speak from his own lower self and his passions, nor of his own choice and will. He is simply compelled to speak, so he is surely protected in the process. If you really wish to know Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, you must rid your heart of attaching importance to creatures where harm and benefit are concerned, for only thus will you really get to know Him. Woe unto you! This world in the hand is permissible. In the pocket it is permissible. To store it up for some practical purpose, with a righteous intention, Naya Siliha, is permissible. In the heart, however, it is not permissible. For it to stand waiting at the door is permissible, but for it to enter into what lies behind the door, no, and you deserve no respect if you permit it to pass that point. When this servant becomes extinct to himself and to all creatures, he becomes as if non-existent mafkud, obliterated mamhu. His inner batin does not undergo change with the advent of misfortunes. He is brought into existence, Ujadu, on the advent of the commandment of Allah, Almighty and Glorious is ill, so he carries it out, and on the advent of his prohibition, so he observes it. He desires nothing and has no greedy craving for anything. Creative power, Taqwan, comes to his heart. The transformation of substances, Taqib al-Ayan, is committed to his care. Where do you stand in relation to such servants, O traitors in knowledge and practice, O enemies of Allah and His Messenger, O robbers of the servants of Allah, Almighty and Glorious is He? You are involved in manifest wrongdoing and manifest hypocrisy. How much longer will this hypocrisy go on, O scholars, O pious abstainers? How long will you practice your hypocrisy on the kings and rulers, in order to get from them the vanities of this world, its lusts and pleasures? You and most of the kings of this age are treacherous abusers of the property of Allah, Almighty and Glorious is He, and of His servants. O Allah, shatter the power of the hypocrites and chastise them, or relent toward them. And crush the tyrants and cleanse the earth of them, or set them straight. Ameen. The Shaykh, may Allah be well pleased with him, then went on to say, O kings, muluk, O royal slaves, mamalik, O tyrants and O just and honorable ones. O hypocrites and O sincere ones. This world lasts up to a set term, amad, while the hereafter lasts to all eternity, abad. You must separate from all apart from the Lord of truth, Almighty and Glorious is He, through your striving and your abstinence. You must cleanse your heart of all but your Lord, Almighty and Glorious is He. You must be careful not to let anything ensnare you, not to let anything trap you, not to let anything hold you back from your Master, Almighty and Glorious is He. So when your allotted shares come to you, receive them with the hand of obedience to the commandment, with the hand of compliance, with an attitude of abstinence from them, not with the hand of preference and fondness for them. When abstinence is practiced continuously, it has an effect on the body, so it gives rise to a sadness in the heart and to a leanness in the physique. Then, when this sadness and leanness are realized, relief comes from the Lord of truth, Almighty and Glorious is He, with joy in Him and knowledge marifa, of Him, so that sorrow and care disappear. The believer, mu'min, keeps his heart detached from creatures, and from family, property and children. While he is attending to their needs, his heart is always on the lookout for the arrival of the King's messenger, Rasul al-Malik. He has reached the gate of the city, and has said goodbye to his family even while still sitting in their midst. The believer is always taking his leave. He is among creatures, yet he has said goodbye to them. His seating is with the creation, but his fruition is with the Creator. When the affirmation of unity Tawhid becomes established in the heart, action becomes correct where the outer is concerned, because there is no difference between your outer zahir and your inner batin. It is all the same to you whether you be rich or poor, whether people come or go, and whether they give you blame or praise. How can you fail to spit them both out, when you have no space in which to digest them, since your heart is filled with Allah, Almighty and glorious is He? Remembrance of Him and longing for Him. For at this stage, there, protection belongs only to Allah, the True. 1844. You become a true lover, muhib haq, a scholar imbued with knowledge, a sage confirmed in wisdom, a cultured person of refined education, independent of creatures, meaning able to do without them. O ignorant one, you should learn from your ignorance. You have given up learning and taken it upon yourself to teach. Spare yourself the trouble. Nothing can come of you and nobody can succeed at your hands, because if a person is incapable of being his own teacher, how can he be the teacher of others? O my people, do not underestimate the power of Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, so that you join the unbelievers kuffar. You must work in accordance with the rule of law, hukam, until this leads you to work in accordance with knowledge, ilm. Once you can really work, you will experience the divine power kudra. Then He will put creative energy, taqwan, into the hands of your hearts and your innermost beings, asrar. When there is no longer any barrier between you and Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, as far as your heart is concerned, He will empower you with creative force. He will show you the stores of His secret treasure, feed you with the food of His gracious favor and let you drink the wine of His intimate friendship, uns. He will seat you at the table of nearness to Him. All this is the fruit of knowledge of the book and the sunnah. Put them both into practice and do not depart from them, until the Master of Knowledge, Sahib al-Ilm, Almighty and Glorious is He, comes to you and takes you to Him. When the teacher of the law, hukam, tests that you are proficient in his book, he will move you on to the book of knowledge. When you have mastered this, your heart and your inner content, mana, what will be set straight, with the Prophet in their company, holding their hands and leading them into the presence of the King, saying to them, here you are with your Lord.